Welcome to Trustee Talk. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dick Murgatroyd, and our guest today is Anderson Township Trustee and the President of the Board of Trustees, Russ Jackson. Russ, it's been a while since we've been together, and I looked ahead at what you wanted to talk about today, and I have to say that I'm probably more excited than I should be. But I really am, because I looked at all that is on the boards for what's happening in Anderson Township. I got to say, you guys have been extremely busy.
We have been, and you know, the unique thing about it is our approach to achieving it is totally different than most other communities.
So how do you all go about that?
I've always believed that, you know, the secret to long-term economic success is not to throw a lot of money at businesses. Everybody else does that. They hire economic development directors to go out and solicit businesses. Never been our approach. Partly because we're a very conservative, tight-knit community. The basic philosophy has been that if we make it nice enough, and we have the size of community we have, these business will eventually come. You know, we went through that economic cycles, as we always do, and few short years ago, all these businesses were out looking to throw new entities, but they all went to the big mall areas, the high volume areas. They always told us, well, we're not going to go to your community. You don't have enough warm bodies.
Yeah.
And based on that philosophy, it was probably true. I think what they've come to the realization after all the failures after the last few years is that if you have a very loyal, local population, you have a chance for long-term success.
Yes, you do,
that's kind of what
Absolutely.
I believe we're finally seeing. So the effort has been to set an environment that will cause people, our own people, to want to stay here and spend their money here, and then these businesses are finally coming around. We're really not going to grow. We're certainly not going to grow in size. We can't annex if we ever wanted to. So our geographic size, 32 square miles, that's going to be it. Population is not going to increase greatly unless the average household members,
grows, yes.
people have more children,
Right.
because of just the nature of that we've built a lot of houses in the particularly half-acre or greater lots. So what we have to rely on is just a stable environment. And I read recently, someone sent me a copy of an editorial out of I think it's the Akron Beacon, an upstate newspaper, regarding the fact that said that large urban townships were irrelevant. And it was triggered by the fact that you had a lot of these urban townships that were, in fact, doing a tax grab through some of these JEDs and JEDZs and all these other kind of things. We really have focused on keeping it right here and just doing it better, and it seems to be working.
Well, it does seem to be working, and I think that you create, by doing that, also stability in your economy, and also I think you create an environment that makes those who live here want to support it, because they believe they understand that that's how it stays, that you know that you have it if you support it, and if you don't,
that's absolutely true.
Then it goes away.
The one question, I've been out of town and to see my latest grandson born, and got back, and the one question that everyone has asked is, are we really getting a movie theater this time? And my response is, hey, it looks like it, but I'm not making any promises at this point.
Well, because you've been working on that a long time.
About 15 years.
Well, you know, and I think that's the other thing when you see this, because when you look at, and I read the article that's going to be in the next magazine that you all do. I probably people look at that and go, wow, you know, how did that all happen? But you know, it takes a long time to create that foundation and to make things right, so that these things happen, and it has been. You said 15 years working on getting a movie theater here, which
I hope it lasts more than 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, I do too. Well, because because you know, really getting there is, you know, because now if you want to go to a movie, you got to go somewhere else, and I
Exactly.
think people will support that.
And once again, it's all part of the package of trying to keep people to stay in their community,
Right.
spend their disposable incomes in the community. I've told you before about the fact that this building was created and put at this location for that very reason. We wanted to be in the heart of the community, to give people purpose to stay in the community. Taken a while for the pieces to come together, and we can't take direct responsibility probably for any of it, but we can take secondary responsibility.
Absolutely.
That we've created that environment that attracts them.
Well, and I think too, people are I think comfortable if they don't have to go far, and they're this is a safe community. It's a terrific community. I mean, for residents to be in, but I think the fact that they don't have to go far to get the things that you're providing for them, and the convenience of that alone is worth it. That they don't have to drive
absolutely.
40 minutes.
Even if the gas prices are under $2
well, yeah,
for
exactly.
the first
But
time
still,
in-
I mean, I think it's just a convenient thing. You know, when you get in your
Absolutely.
car and you think we got to drive 45 minutes to go find a movie, when they can drive a few minutes and
Absolutely
be
right.
able to do that.
One of the more interesting things, I've talked about this before, is being in the truck business for 37, 38 years, the big truck business. The real thing that you find with car dealers and with truck dealers is that they don't want to be out by themselves.
No.
They want to be together because there is synergism that comes out
Absolutely.
of attracting people. In the same way here, you want lots of restaurants and lots of choices. Now people can say, hey, I can drive up Beachmont Avenue and I have choices.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that is very important. Otherwise, they think of someplace when I drive to Kenwood, which is a long drive.
Sure it is, yeah.
They don't necessarily want to go to Eastgate, but there are other places that they can go to. So all these pieces are coming together.
Well, and a lot
So
of it's going to come together here in the town center, is it not?
big time. They have some great plans, and I guess they're really moving forward on this thing. They're going to tear down part of the old Kmart building. This is not something that happened overnight. You know, they've had plans, but they couldn't do anything or talk about anything until Kmart made a decision. If Kmart had re-upped in their lease, nothing was going to
all over,
happen. So talk about fortuitous. They decided to cut back, as they are all across the country, and by doing that, that's what enabled this thing to happen. But they're going to reconfigure the traffic pattern, set a whole new lane of coming off of Bowen that will have new businesses, expand it all the way to the back, all the way to the where the park and ride is. Great stuff. Not just a movie theater. The movie theater is the anchor, and they want to position that so you could see it from Beachmont
yes.
Avenue.
Yeah.
I think their plans call to move the clock tower back. There's going to be some kind of gym facility, workout facility in the remaining portion of the old Kmart building, and then they have plans for these others, and they may well have tenants already lined up.
Now, are they going to keep the building, or are they going to?
They're taking part of
it,
and the rest of it is going to be this gym facility.
Well, there again, I mean that's more popular than ever today. I mean, when
Absolutely.
you look at over where we live, I mean they put in a big operation over there, and we all looked at that and said, "Gee, I wonder if that's going to last." You know, and gosh, it's packed all the time. So
Yes.
I mean, people are again, your population is interested in having opportunities to be able to do that without having to go a
I
long
think
way.
you're
to do it.
absolutely right, Dick. And you remember our demographics are such that we have these people who have families, but are at an age where they want to be active. It ties so closely to our trail system.
Yes.
These are the same people who want our trails and use our trails and appreciate our trails either by biking or walking. So it is very ancillary to that.
Well, it fits in because you all have done such a great job just with your recreation program here and your recreation facilities in Anderson Township, which are get a lot of use. So
Yes,
that
they do.
tells you that there's a lot of interest in in having the ability to get out and to do things
To stay healthy.
and stay healthy and to do it with your family.
Right.
So
And yet they're close to the hospital.
Right.
So if they aren't healthy,
That's
they got
right.
a great
They're
hospital.
not too far
And,
away.
that's part of the package. We're looking at this Kroger thing, and it's incredible what they're going to do and what the town center is going to do and what's going to happen there at the corner of Wolfangle and Beachmont, what's happening at the corner of Witt Road and Beachmont, a couple of other projects going on. But the thing at the hospital is really important with
Yes.
the tower, because what does that bring with the cancer and heart tower and specializing? Now we're attracting doctors that used to just go up on the hill, Pill Hill, and never come out here. Now they want to come out here. What does that do? That brings more doctors' offices, more facilities.
Absolutely.
It's
and
just-
brings more people into the community because of the availability of those doctors.
Oh, absolutely.
This close by.
One of the other things that you see if you drive down Beachmont is that even though we have a hospital, a great hospital, great emergency, you have all the hospitals are building these clinics.
Yes.
You got Tri-Health. You have Christ took
Yes.
over that whole facility that used to be the old Kroger. Mercy itself, even though they have a hospital 3 blocks away, has their own clinic. So it's becoming, each of those things add to the package.
Well, and again, it makes it possible, as we talked earlier, people don't have to go far to find those kind of services. So I think that keeps people closer to home, and again, the convenience, just
Oh,
the
absolutely.
convenience is important. I know the Kroger, that project alone is just a huge project, and it's going
I
to
guess.
change the whole configuration of that part of the town center there.
Right.
And then on the corner is going to be another project.
Part of the
Wolfangle.
agreement with the Kroger folks is that they would develop that corner, which would be the northwest corner, consistent with the downtown Anderson plan, which our Economic Development Committee put together several years ago. We're not exactly sure what it is because they haven't decided, but it will be developed with some kind of plaza area and attractive area to kind of anchor the center of the community on
Yeah.
Beachmont. So it's all good. I can't tell you the details of it because they haven't finalized the details, but people will be pleased as these things, they're no longer a conversation.
Right.
We're actually getting towards
Well, and
fruition
it's
here.
also going to mean a lot to you from the standpoint of employment opportunities, because when putting all these things in there, you're going to have people to work and to run them.
Absolutely, and that's always good for the community, although we don't have a payroll tax and don't want a payroll tax, but that's one aspect of it, is it's good to have a viable, all these things add up to being a viable community. And the interesting thing, I think, Dick, more than anything, is that when you start seeing all this activity, the guys on the outside suddenly say, hey, maybe we should take a look. You know, we've tried to tell them for years, but it's been a pretty well-kept secret. All of a sudden they're saying, oh, look at the demographics, the average household income, so much higher than average, regional averages, that sort of thing. All of a sudden they're saying, oh yeah, that's the place to be.
Absolutely.
Once you decide that's the place to be, then everybody wants to take advantage.
Well, you know, and that's a good incentive for other companies, as you said, because you guys have not approached it. Most places, as you said earlier, use the incentives, you know, which are they work, but then again, it's usually they're long term, and in the end, they don't always pay off. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a risk. And you guys don't put yourself in that position.
We put that money into the infrastructure of the community on the basis that it takes longer, but it will pay off.
Well, but I think
long-term.
I think the companies last longer.
Yes.
I think was what happens. You know,
You're absolutely right. I remember back when we had the big surge of businesses that moved off of Beachmont and moved out to Eastgate, and everybody said world's coming to an end. Well, the more I looked at the businesses that went there, they should have gone there.
Yeah.
They had, they were price point oriented,
Right.
and that was a perfect place for them. We didn't offer that. We needed quality rather than
Right.
price, and but it took a long time for it to evolve to where we are, where we're headed right now.
In essence, because and the other thing too is, as we've talked earlier on earlier shows, you all have. I mean, you look at Beachmont. You filled in a lot of the empty space.
Exactly.
Or the
aren't too many empty.
No, there aren't too many empty
facilities
spaces
along
out there
Beachmont.
anymore.
That's right. Yes.
So I mean, but over time, it has evolved, and again, as you said, it's a matter of when the time is right and the right people come along, it works for them.
Big difference in our community. Even you take a community of 45,000 or so. If you are use Zanesville as an example, and I'm not sure of the population, probably 45 to 60.
Yeah, probably about that.
They're a standalone community, so they had these things, and it was the only place for people to go. We were this large community in the middle of an even larger community, so it was much more difficult to try to keep your people there, but we're seeing it, so it's...
Well, you are. I mean, guys, like you said, you've got a lot of competition out there that's not too far away.
Right.
I mean, for folks here, if they can, it may take a little bit longer, they can go find it somewhere, but I think, as we said, you keep the people closer to home when you have, and as you said, quality businesses that are going to last,
Right.
and not going to be in and out, open, and then a year from now they're gone, and there's nothing there. So it's a very diverse. I mean, what's happening in the town center is there's a lot of diversity in the kind of things that you're bringing into the center.
The one of the things that relate to what you just said is the fact that it really enhances property values.
Yes.
Residential property values, and that's kind of a three-step jump there, but it's very important because now you have people who want to move here, not that they didn't before, even more so, which then maintains the residential property values. So when you buy your house at whatever cost, you know that you'll be able to sell it at a greater price than what you paid for it. And that's important for any community. We've watched the demise of so many, that you and I have,
absolutely.
So many communities because they were not going this way, they were going this way. And
you've actually maintained through the recessional period, and Anderson Township pretty much held its own with regard to
we had
to property
probably commercial property probably suffered a little more than, but comparatively, absolutely.
No, you guys were not. I don't think ever felt the real hit that a lot of places felt.
That's what the real estate people tell you, and they're the ones who know.
Right.
How many houses are on the market, how long have they been on the market, and that sort of thing. And we've always pretty well held our own. And there are other factors that add to that. Having a wonderful school system.
Yes.
Absolutely critical to making that happen. A park system, critical. Even our green space, I don't know if it's as critical, as important as the other two, but it's been very important.
When you are out, and I had on my side of the river over there, I was involved with economic development, obviously in our county especially, but in the three counties. When you start looking and people coming, looking at your area as far as wanting to come into your area, those all play a major role anymore in attracting people to want to come and live in your community. That green space is important. So the parks and recreation is very important. Cost of living, of course, obviously is. And then what kind of amenities are available in the community, and we found that those things are really, especially to families that are going to move here for whatever reason, or they're coming, and it sets your community apart and I am a great fan of Anderson Township.
Thank you.
Because you just see it everywhere you look, and you feel it with people that you talk to that live here. I mean, they really, truly do live and breathe.
Except for those that say, "Hey, you're really going to have a movie theater?"
Well, yeah, those people there. Now, if you let them down, they're going to be upset.
I'll see you at the grand opening.
There you go. I'll be there. I'll be there. Well, and then your school system's critical.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, then you've got.
It is the package.
You have got all of the pieces are there. I think that attract, and that's going to be attractive to a business also.
Absolutely.
I mean, because of their employees are going to come from, they're here, and they're going to be here,
right.
and not going to be too transient, and so that's got to be a plus also. What other kind of things are coming in? I mean, I know the movie theater. I think probably everybody's excited about that.
Well, as I mentioned, that they have a physical fitness facility coming in. They have not announced who their other tenants are, but they'll probably add a couple new restaurants and that sort of thing. So it's all positive. They just haven't announced exactly what it is.
The timeline is interesting because it's moving pretty fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm looking at the timeline that was in that article. You're looking at a lot happening in 2015, 16, and 17.
These things, do take a while to build and construct, but we're quickly through the approval zoning process. They understand the rules of engagement, which makes it a lot easier. Kroger did, because their people were understood what it was we wanted, what we were willing to accept, and it made it a heck of a lot easier to move it through than to try to create something that the government didn't want, or the zoning people didn't want. So that's really, really good. And once the construction season starts, although with the weather out here, you'd think it would start right now.
This has been wonderful, has it not? Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
but it's knock on plastic.
I know. There's going to be some bad days ahead.
But there will be a great construction season, and all of a sudden people say, "Oh my goodness, look at what's going on here."
I think once they start seeing that,
the buildings shoot up.
that will make a difference. I mean, now you go by and
I had a letter from or an email from a lady complaining. I think it was in November, complaining about the two ugly buildings at the corner of Wolf Angle, and why hadn't we done anything about it? And something about cutting the shrubs by Kroger and whatever. 3 weeks later, those buildings were totally gone.
That was the most amazing thing, because I drive by there a lot. And all of a sudden, one day I drove by and said, "Oh my gosh, those buildings are gone."
Yeah.
And I guess I wasn't paying attention if they were doing anything, or hadn't gone by there. But I mean, all of a sudden they're gone, and that even that is like kind of thinking, "Oh boy, that's much better."
Oh, it looks much better. Yes. Really if it wasn't for having to put the fences up, it would even look better.
But I mean,
look at Witt and Beachmont. There were 3 buildings there. There was a car dealership on the corner. You had a bar, a dilapidated bar falling apart in the middle. But those buildings gone. What a difference!
Oh, it does. It makes all the difference in the world, And it really is exciting. I'm sure. I guess is there do you have an estimation of when the movie theater is going to open?
I don't know.
You don't know.
They said the summer of 16 is what they projected. They're very the folks at Victory who own the town center are very closed mouth about these sort of things. They don't put out any PR releases.
Well, I understand.
They leave it up to the tenants.
Yeah.
And so until the tenant is ready to put out a release.
Well, we'll make it. We'll go see that first movie.
I'm not going to sit here and wait for them to do it, but I think we're closing in on it. The other thing we didn't mention is the fact that the evolution down on Kellogg Avenue with Belterra, very much a positive, even though it's kind of separated with the property that the township acquired in the old marina to anchor the east side of that of that entertainment district. It's
Coming along.
People are noticing it. And that's
Well, I mean, I think that's going to be another jewel for you. I think, you know, like you said, it's not right here, but it's close, and it's going to be offer another whole group of things for people to do, attraction.
Absolutely.
It'll become a destination, I think, for you eventually.
And remember, it's only 2 exits between
Yeah,
Kellogg and 5 Mile Road.
that
So you're
far.
talking 4 miles by
Not
highway.
that far.
So
It's not that far.
it's not a big deal.
But I mean, I congratulate you all. I think what you have accomplished, and as you said, it didn't happen overnight, but boy, it's wonderful to see the fruits of all that labor finally come to fruition. And,
When we started this thing, my hair was gray.
yeah,
Wait a minute.
just a little,
No, it was less gray.
Yeah, less gray.
That was less gray.
but you've earned it.
Yeah, I hope.
It
I
makes
hope.
you distinguished, sir.
That's what it is.
That's what they always tell us.
Easy for you to say. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's more fun now than it was because now we're seeing
Absolutely.
results, seeing it pay off, seeing all the positive
Absolutely.
things.
Well, congratulations. I you know, and because you've been here a long time, and I know it has to make you feel extremely proud. I mean, to know that you had a part of all that, and now to see it all start to come about. So, thank you. Thank you for working so hard, and thank you for being so dedicated. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Good to see
Always
you.
a
Always
pleasure.
good to see you.
Always a
a
pleasure.
pleasure to see you.
Thank
So
you.
we do thank you very much. And we thank you for joining us and making us part of your day today. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and make each day a day to remember. And on behalf of our group here and our producer, our wonderful producer, Nikki Bishop, and our director, Andy Crozier, and all of us here at ACTV, we hope that you will come back and join us again for the next edition of Trustee Talk on ACTV. Have a great week.